Hi, I'm Andrea and welcome to Productive C Sharp. In this video, I want to tell you how you can upgrade a full .NET Framework project to the new CS project syntax. On the right, you can see that we have a console application called Productive C Sharp that is referencing a library, my library, that we have here in the project, and also referencing three NuGet packages like Azure Key Vault, Azure Storage, and Newtonsoft JSON. There are a lot of classes in here, and there is a packages.config file that actually specifies the three NuGet packages. Pretty common .NET Framework project console application. Okay, we want to actually have a look inside the CS project and actually upgrade it. First of all, you need to go right-click project, unload the project, and then you need to edit the project. Okay. Before actually doing the editing, I want to show you an amazing blog post that has been written by Nate McMaster that is actually explaining how you can actually do this process that we are going to do now. I'm going to add this link in the resources section of the course. Okay, so let's start. First of all, you don't need to use the XML anymore here. You can remove XML2 and the namespacing here, and you can just say, I want the SDK equals Microsoft.net.sdk. Okay, there we go. So you don't need to import the props anymore. That's done automatically. The only things you need to keep in here is the target framework. However, the target framework version has been renamed to target framework. Oops. Target framework. And also the value is actually different. You do like net 461, net 462, and so on. Then you don't need all of this. All of this can go. It's quite nice to remove all this stuff. You don't need that. Okay, so now we are at the NuGet references. As you know, you need to provide the in path and all of this stuff here that's automatically added by Visual Studio when you reference NuGet packages. You can simplify a lot this syntax. You can simply do something like package reference. Then you say include equals the name of the library and the version. Okay. The interesting things about this syntax is that these three references in reality are not strictly needed. I only added Microsoft Windows Azure Storage using NuGet, but because Microsoft Windows Azure Storage depends on the other two, you've been forced to add them in the CS project. Now, with the new syntax, this is the concept of transitive dependencies. So the only package I need to add is the Windows Azure Storage package with the version 9.1.0. And I don't need to reference the other ones because they are implicitly referenced, now with the new format. So now also you don't need anymore the packages.config file because NuGet is now embedded inside the CS project format. So quite nice. You don't need to reference the default .NET Framework libraries that are already referenced. So you can remove those. Now, the nice part here is that you don't even need to reference all of the C# files. That's quite amazing. I can't remember how many times I had a conflict with other colleagues because we edited the CS project, we added some files, we removed some files. So this will not be a problem anymore because all CS projects are automatic, all CS files are automatically added by Visual Studio. So when you make changes, rename files or add files, these changes won't impact the CS project file. Then, as I said, packages.config can go, you don't need that anymore. Finally, there is the project reference. So here the syntax has been simplified. So there is no need anymore to add the actual GUID of it. The name doesn't need to be specified, it's implicitly understood. So I can just do it single line like that. Project reference include. Finally, you can remove the C# project targets. There's one thing I forgot, that is the actual output type, because this is a console application. I need to provide that the output type property, saying that this will generate an executable. If you actually upgrade a library, you don't need this line. Right? So look at this file. It's amazingly simple. There's no garbage around. It's exactly what you need. So, and actually, you don't even need to put two item groups. You can just put the package references and the project references all together in the same item group. Basically, no need. Okay, now the most important things is reloading the project. So if you've done something wrong, I hope you saved your changes in your source control system so that you can revert back and start over. So let's reload and see if it actually works. Yeah. And now Visual Studio is reloading the new CS-proj file. And let's see what happened. Okay, first of all, packages.config is not needed anymore. Let's remove it. And there's another important thing to say. The assembly info file is also not needed. This can be removed alongside the properties folder. Because now the assembly info informations are included automatically by Visual Studio. You can still look at them in the properties of the project. You look at package and you can see the various information. If you go actually change the default values, like for example, let's say author Andrea Angela, and I save, there's also change the company name. If I now look at the CS-proj and look at this, you don't need anymore to, you still need to unload. Oh, you can edit the C# project directly without unloading. That's quite awesome. And now you can see the authors have been added in the CS-proj. So this means that now the assembly information that you usually used to put in the assembly info file can added directly in the CS-proj. It's quite nice. Obviously, there are some other attributes that still need to be added in like internal visible to attributes still need to be added somewhere. Usually, it's good practice to to still use the assembly info file. Then we should be able to build. Let's see if the solution is still built. Oh, it's failing. So what it's saying is that it's unable to find the package Windows Azure Storage. So let's have a look at the CS-proj file. I might have done something wrong. Well, actually, there is not Microsoft dot. It's just Windows Azure Storage. So let's try again. You should fix it. So the best approach when you want to do this is usually go to the packages.config file, copy the list from there, and then edit it. So you won't do this mistake. So now I built this, and let's try to run it and see if it works. Awesome, still working. You probably noticed that something changed in Visual Studio. Now it's showing the dependencies instead of references, and it's showing the assembly references, the NuGet references, and the project references as different elements, so that you can see, what the differences between the three. Fantastic. So let's see if I've covered everything. So the question you might have at this moment is, so why should I do this? Why should I upgrade my CS-proj to the new format? So as you've seen, the main advantage is that, first of all, you don't need to do any more unload and reload when you want to edit the CS-proj file. Also, you can see the simplicity of the CS-proj now. So there's all the boiler code is now gone. So you only have the things that matter in the CS-proj. You have less conflicts when you work as part of a team. So no more conflicts on C# files that need to be added in the CS-proj file. And also you have the advantage of transitive dependencies. That's also for project references as well. So you don't need to reference all the projects. You don't need to reference all the NuGet packages, but you can reference only just the top projects or the top NuGet packages, and automatically all the transitive dependencies are automatically added. So this is an extremely cool work that Microsoft did. I definitely recommend you to upgrade your projects to use the new format. Of course, if you go to .NET Core and .NET Standard using Visual Studio, this format is automatically used for you in the templates. But unfortunately, there is no simple tool to automatically upgrade to the new format from the old full .NET framework. So you need to do this manually at the moment. But I think it's still worth the effort. It's a bit of just of a manual effort, but the benefits are many. So I definitely recommend that. Final note: you definitely need to use Visual Studio 2017 to be able to support that. And in order to build the project, you need the Visual Studio 2017 MS Build tools installed. Thank you very much for watching.